Hey there drone fans, Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's video, I'll show you a landing gear kit that snaps onto your DJI Mini Se and provides just a little bit of extra height for takeoff and landing to help protect your camera and sensitive gimbal assembly. Now I like the Mini Se an awful lot, and I've been flying it pretty consistently ever since it was released. DJI did a great job with this drone of designing something that would allow a new flyer to enter the hobby, not spend a lot of money, but get a ton of sophistication in a tiny little portable package. The Mini Se's got some of the features and tech from the original Mavic Mini that came out a couple of years ago, and it's got a couple of features and tech that are in the new Mini 2 as well, in a package that most people can afford. Now I get a ton of questions from viewers on the channel about what accessories I'm using with the Mini Se, and honestly, anytime a new drone comes out, we start thinking about what accessories we need for that drone. And we'll look on the market for manufacturers that release accessories, we'll buy a bunch of them, we'll bring them in, the team will go out in the field, and they'll fly with them like crazy to test them out. And quite honestly, a lot of the accessories that are on the market don't measure up. You'll find out that a lot of them that look really good on a website, you'll buy them, you'll bring them home, put them on your drone, and a couple of weeks later, they're on a shelf someplace. You're not really using them. So I want to try and do that homework for you. And when we find something that we like this product, I'll talk about it on the channel. Now, a landing gear kit in general might not seem intuitive. You might think, well, if they needed it, why didn't they put it on the drone it was released? Well, you got to remember, it's a bit of a catch-22 to design a folding drone like this, because your main objective, in this case, is to build one that's small. It folds up really small, under 250 grams, and there's not a lot of room in there for extra stuff. And the challenge with that, the catch-22 part is, making it small also means that it hasn't got a lot of ground clearance. So if you look up front, that gimbal assembly is almost touching the ground. And when you first power up the drone, it goes through a power on self-test where it rotates the gimbal through 3 axes of rotation to make sure that it's got freedom of movement. And that close to the ground, if you put this thing down on grass, it's going to hit the grass. The gimbal looks down like this, it's going to swipe across that grass. And you may pass the power on self-test, but think about that. If the grass is the least bit wet or it's got debris on it, you're swiping your camera lens across that wet grass on the bottom. If you put it down in soft dirt, it's going to do the same thing. And even if you put it down in a parking lot on macadam or concrete, it's so close to the ground that when you spin up the props, that downwash from the props is going to kick up all kinds of dust and debris. It's going to get up inside your gimbal assembly. So having it a little bit higher off the ground gives it some air ventilation underneath it to move that dirt away from it. It just is a better situation all the way around. And quite honestly, I use a landing mat. Now I know a lot of people out there, especially with a small drone like this, like to hand launch it and hand catch it. I like using a landing mat because I feel like as a pilot, one of the most basic things you can master is the takeoff and the landing. And nothing excites me more than ending a flight, coming back and trying to land right dead center on that H. But even with a landing mat, because of the weight of the drone, it sinks down, especially in grass. It'll sink down on the landing mat, and I've had occasions where the gimbal actually rubs along the landing mat when it first starts up and I get a gimbal error. So what this does is it snaps on the drone really quickly. You can unfold it in a couple of seconds. It gives you a little bit of extra height, and the beautiful part about it is you're still under the 250 grams. So what you've got with this on there is about 244. I think the drone, and it varies a little bit, but the drone weighs about 234 grams. These add about 8 or 10 grams to the weight. So you're still into the 250. You can leave them on. The color's the same as the drone, so it looks like a stock product. You can fold it up, put it back in the case, and not have to worry about it. But anytime people ask me, Rick, if you had to pick 5 accessories to start with on a drone, what would that be? Pretty much not in any order. I got a landing mat, especially like this, I've got a landing gear kit, I've got a good case for it, I've got a good charger for it, and I've got some other protections for the gimbal up front. Maybe I'm using a set of ND filters if I'm flying in different conditions. But anyway, for the landing gear kit, that's like number 1 or number 2, because when you put this thing down, you're going to want to land it in the grass, in the dirt, in a parking lot, and that junk's going to get up inside that gimbal, and that's nothing you can fix on your own. So over time, all that grit and dirt and goop up in there is going to cause problems with that gimbal, and you're going to have to send it out for repair. So I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just talking from experience. So with me, I use it every time I fly. One of the first things I do when I get a new drone is find a set of landing gear, snap them on the drone, especially one like this, and then fly with it and use it every time I go out. So what I want to show you next is how to put these on, because the beautiful part about these guys is you can put them on the drone and leave it on the drone when you put it away for the day. So there's no reason to pop them off. One of the things we had a problem with some of the other kits is you couldn't leave them on the drone. They were just too big to fit in the case. You had to pull them off every time. And I feel like that putting them on, pulling them off is going to eventually wear whatever plastic or material they're made out of, and they're going to be loose on there. And the worst thing that can happen is to have a set of these on there, go off and fly and try to land with missing a leg, because now you've got kind of a wonky drone to land, and that gets kind of scary. The other thing I like about these is they match the color, so that's kind of cool. But more importantly, they're not going to scratch the legs. Some of the other ones we looked at, when you put them on and took them off a couple of times, you could notice little rivulets, or I should say little cuts, if you will, in the legs. I didn't like that because now I'm messing with my drone. So these go on, they stay on. You can take them off if you want, but there's no need to do that. So stay tuned. I'll show you how easy it is to install these. It's pretty intuitive. And then I'll come back with a couple of final closing thoughts. Inside the kit, you'll find 4 extensions, 2 for the back and 2 for the front. The back extensions are different, so you got to make sure you've got them on the right arm of the quad. The front ones are labeled different, but they're interchangeable. I've had no issues putting them on either leg. Now to start with, on the back, you want to make sure you're looking at the drone upside down, and these legs extend up like this. So it's pretty obvious that this is going to snap on here and then cover this pivot point. And the way I install that is to snap it on the leg and slide it up till it clicks. Same thing on this side. Snap it on the leg and then slide it up till it clicks. Now with the front legs, I always want to do this on a flat surface because you're going to push pretty hard against this, and by having the motors on this surface, you can push down and not have to bend the arm. And you're going to look closely inside there. You'll see there's a flat side here and there's a curved side there. Same thing with the foot. You can see a flat side here and a curved side. Just line up the flat side and push down until they're all the way seated down like that. And if you look closely at it, the feet are actually on the inside and they'll fold out like this. You can do the same with the other side. Push down like that. Now once they're fully seated, you're good to go. To open them up, you'll just pop these, and when you open them fully, listen for the click. There's a click right there that holds them all the way open. You want to make sure that they're fully open, and the same with these guys. When you're done for the day, you can fold them down and they'll snap closed. Hear those clicks? And lay these down flat. And then you can fold up the drone. So you can fold up the back, 2 legs like this. You can fold up the top legs like this, and they close up nice and tight. Now the only thing I will caution you about is it's really tight in here, and I've had some people ask me about, well gee, that's going to hit right there. Just lift it up a tiny bit or fold these legs down and fold it up like that. It works just great. And again, there's no way to make that shorter inside there, but I've had no issues with it, and I've been using these for the duration of the Mavic Mini product line, from the original Mavic Mini through the Mini 2 and now the Mini SE. The one thing I will mention though is they are different. So this set fits the Mini SE and the Mini 2. There's a different set for the Mavic Mini. Both of those are available. Now you can see just how easy it is to install these on the drone. I think that whole process took about 30 seconds. Now here's a couple of final thoughts. For me, a landing gear kit is an absolute essential, especially in a drone this small, because I've flown these drones for a long time, going way back to the original Mavic Pro, and it always worried me that that gimbal and camera assembly is just so close to the ground. I'm not a hand catcher, I do it on occasion, but by and large, I take off and land on a mat. But even with a mat sometimes, especially with these smaller drones, that gimbal can rub on that mat during that power on self-test, so I don't like any kind of errors that pop up on the drone, and I've had a couple of gimbal errors when I put it through power on self-test where that gimbal actually rubbed on the mat. What I like so much about this kit, as compared to some of the other ones that we looked at, number one, the color. I know it's a small thing, but a lot of the kits out there are black. I guess it's maybe less expensive to make it in black than gray, but gray matches the drone. You can't even really tell it's on the drone when you look at it. The other thing I like a lot about this kit is the way it fits the drone. The way they clamp on the drone, they're going to stay there. And I've flown this thing, I've probably had 100 takeoff and landings with this, and pretty good wind too. And nothing's ever happened. They've never worked loose, they've never popped off. I like that they stick on the drone. I also like that if I take them off the drone, I haven't got big scratch marks on the legs, which is something that you're spending a lot of money on the drone. You don't want an accessory to sort of, mess up your drone when you're putting it on there. And then the last thing I'll mention is that they're lightweight. So the drone, again, 234 grams with a battery in it ready to fly. You put these on, you add another 8 or 10 grams to it, you're still well under the 250 grams. So there's other room for things if you want to stick stickers on it or whatever. So for me, this kit really works. And again, we've tested a ton of them on the market. I'm not going to talk about the other manufacturers that we've tested because I'm not a big fan of doing those kind of, my dad can beat up your dad comparisons on the site and talking about the ones that didn't work out well. I talk about the ones that I like and the ones that we use. So anyway, if you're interested in this kit, I've got a link below. We offer it on the website. Again, we support everything we sell. So if you ever buy something from us and have questions later on or problems, just email us and we'll take care of it. We ship these every day from New Jersey. I can get them to you faster than Amazon can. And again, we stand behind our products, so we'll always be here in case you have questions. And that was pretty much all I had for today. So I hope you found this clip helpful. And until next time, happy flying.